recording is working on starting. There it goes. But any class that has a recording, you can always go back and watch that. Okay, so there's number 1. Let's go to slide 8. That'll be number 2. It says, what is the sum of -4 and 7? If you're writing on your own paper, just write -4 plus 7. You don't have to write the whole thing. Just write this. Okay. If you want to make yourself a note, I'll put it right here with the text tool. When the signs are different, you subtract. Okay, so we have a negative number and a positive number, so that means we subtract. Even though this says to add, ignore it. When the signs are different, you subtract. So I'm going to put the larger number up top, -4, and that's going to give us 3. And y'all get into the habit of circling your final answer. It's just a good habit to be in. That way, when you're looking back at your notes and you're looking for the answer, your eyes can just go straight to the answer if you circle it. Okay, when the signs are different, that says difference. When the signs are different, let's fix that, you subtract. Okay, that one's pretty simple, so let's go ahead and move on to number 3. This is slide 9. If you're writing on your own paper, you can just write -0.6 plus 3.0. And our signs are different, so guess what we're doing? Subtracting. We got to put the bigger number up top, which is going to be 3.0. So if you're writing, you're going to write 3.0 on the top. Then we're going to line our decimals up and fill in our numbers and then subtract. Well, you can't take 6 away from 0, so we need to borrow from the 3. Right? So cross that 3 out, it becomes a 2, giving the 1 to the 10. I mean to the 0, making it a 10. Then 10 minus 6 is 4. Bring your decimal down. 2 minus 0 is just 2. Then we need to check the sign of our larger number. Our larger number is 3.0, which is positive. So that means our answer is positive. So circle 2.4. That will be your final answer for number 3. All right, give y'all just a second. There are 10 questions on the quiz. Hayden and Aiden, if y'all have a question, put it in the questions and answers chat box. All right, let's move on to slide 10. This is number 4. So I'm just going to put a 4 up here so we know. This one says add using the number line. So when you do that, you want to plot the minuend first. Okay, so your first number is the minuend. So we're going to go on our number line and plot 1.3. That's going to be right here. My dot may be small, but I can't make it very big. 1.3. And then if you're adding a negative, you're going to be going backwards. When you add a negative, it's the same thing as just subtracting. Okay? So we're going to, let me get my skinnier one. To add these, you have 2 wholes and then a half is basically how you can think about that. So I like to start at 0 and count how many jumps it takes to get to 1 whole, which is just 1. And you'll see why that helps in just a second. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 jumps equals 1. Okay. So now when we start here, we can jump 10 times backwards once and twice, and then 5 jumps to do this number. Okay. So let's start right here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 jumps right there. That would be minus 1 whole. Then we do 10 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That would be another whole. So that's minus 2. So now we just need to do 5 more jumps because it says 0.5. And we know that that's a half. And if a whole was 10 jumps, half of a whole would be 5 jumps. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We land right here. That would be our answer. And that is negative 1.3. Brandon, what are you doing? Y'all hear my dog snoring? Minus 0.5 right there. Okay. Hayden, no, but you are welcome to watch the recording after class is over. And I'll write this a little bit bigger. Oh, hang on, not 1.3. That's 1.2. Why did I say that? Negative 1.2. Sorry for those of you that are writing. Negative 1.2 is your answer. Denzel, y'all hear my dog snoring? Piper, wake up. They both snore. When they both get going, it sounds like crazy in here. All right, so let's go to slide 11. This will be number 5. And it has 2 fractions that it wants us to use the number line to add. However, our number line it's in tenths. Okay, so I know that because if I look at 0 to the first tick mark, it's just 1/10. So each of these tick marks is worth a tenth. However, our fractions do not have tens on the bottom. And you can't add or subtract fractions unless they have the same denominator. So what we need to do is find the LCM of both of our denominators. So let's do that over here. We have 2 is a denominator and 5 is a denominator. The multiples of 2, or skip counting by 2, is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and I'll stop there. The multiples of 5 are 5, 10, and I can stop there because I see already that I have a common multiple here of 10. So if you're writing on your own paper, just write LCM equals 10. And so now what you need to do with that is get both of these denominators to be 10. And to do that, you have to ask yourself, what did I multiply that number by to get 10? 2 times 5 is 10. And so if we multiply the bottom by 5, we have to multiply the top by 5. And that's going to give us 1 times 5 on the top, which is 5. So 1/2 becomes 5/10. And then the other fraction, you have to ask yourself, what did I multiply? Oh, what in the world happened? There we go. What did I multiply 5 by to get 10? That would be 2. And whatever you did to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So you have 4 times 2 on the top, which would give you 8. And so now here are our 2 new fractions. We have 8, or actually negative 8/10 plus 5/10. Now we can add because we have the same denominators. However, if you try to add like this, you will not get the right answer. Are these the exact same questions on the unit test? Layla, what do you think? You think I'm going to give you all the answers to the unit test? This is the study guide for the unit test. So the questions are the same, but they use different numbers. So you'll solve all the questions on the test in the same way, but you'll be using different numbers. Okay, so now we can add. So of course, the same thing, we want to plot our first number. So negative 8/10 is going to be right here. And I know that because this one is negative 7/10. This one is negative 9/10. So this one has to be negative 8/10. 4/5 is just simplified. Okay, and I'm adding a positive number. So I'm going to be moving to the right. And I need 5 jumps because I know each jump is worth 1/10. So 1 jump, 2 jumps, 3, 4, 5 lands me right here. So that means our final answer is negative 3/10. That one was kind of long. Okay, that was number 5. Number 5. I'll give y'all just a second to get that one. I know that was a little bit more writing. That's okay, Aiden. All right, let's move on to slide 12. This will be number 6. And it says subtract using the number line. I want you, if you're taking your own notes, write KCC. That stands for keep, change, change. So when you're subtracting a negative or you're just subtracting at all, you can use keep, change, change, which is keep the first number. So negative 3 stays the same. We change the minus to a plus, change the second negative to a positive. And now we can use the number line. So we'll go ahead and plot negative 3. So that's right here. And then we're adding a positive, so we're moving to the right. So we just do 7 jumps to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That lands us at positive 4. That will be your answer. Positive 4. That one's pretty easy. So just remember that keep, change, change rule if you're subtracting. All right, let's go to the next slide. This is going to be number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it says we've got a word problem. An experimental substance was being stored at negative 4.7. Y'all underline that number. It was then placed on a table where the temperature was raised by 1.3 degrees Fahrenheit. What was the new temperature of the experimental substance? So we need to write out a number sentence here. So our first number is negative 4.7. Then it says was raised. That means you need to add. If it says was lowered, that means you need to subtract. So plus our next number, which is 1.3. Now, if you have a calculator, you can pop that in your calculator. It will be easy. If not, you need to know how to solve it. So we have two numbers with different signs. We have a negative and a positive. So that means we're actually going to subtract. So I'm going to put my larger number on top, which is 4.7. Other number on the bottom, 1.3, and I'm going to subtract. 7 minus 3 is 4. Bring the decimal down. 4 minus 1 is 3. And our larger number is negative. That means our answer is negative. Okay, your final answer would be negative 3.4. All right, about 10 seconds, and we're going to move on. All right, let's go to slide 14. This will be number 8. We got 3 more we're going to try to squeeze in here. Again, you can scratch that out on yours. We're going to use keep, change, change. That was a weird K. We're going to keep negative 4/5, change to a plus, change to a positive. So let's plot our first number, which is negative 4/5. That's right here. And then on this one, each tick mark is worth 1/5. So we only need to make one jump here. And we're jumping to the right because we're adding a positive number. So your answer will be negative 3/5. Negative 3/5. All right, slide 15. This is number 9. We're subtracting, or it says to subtract these two fractions. However, we're going to use keep, change, change. We're going to keep negative 4 2/3, change to a plus, change to a negative. So now we have two negative numbers that we're adding. That's much easier to do. All that we need to do here is add our whole numbers. So negative 4 plus negative 7. That gives us negative 11. Add our fractions, negative 2/3 plus negative 1/3 that gives us negative 3/3. And anytime a fraction is the same on the top and the bottom, that is equal to 1. So it's actually negative 1. Then when we add our two totals together, you would get negative 12. Piper. Crazy girl. All right, then our last question. This one's easy peasy. It's number 10. It says, what's the distance between point A and B? The most important thing here is to pay attention the order they tell you. So they said point A to point B. That means that we're going to start here and go to the right. That means your answer has to be positive. If they said point B to point A, you would be going backwards. Your answer would be negative. Okay, so all you have to do here to find out what the answer is count how many jumps from when you start at A until you get to B. So we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 jumps here. That is your answer. There is, the distance is 13, positive 13.